What's up, Eagles Nation? I hope your week is off to a great start, full of positive energy. And really, there's nothing better than kicking it off by celebrating that incredible victory we just had. It was a game of grit, intensity, and it showed once again just how ready this team is to fight for something big this season. Every single play was proof of our toughness, and it was definitely one of those moments that gave every fan goosebumps. So go ahead and smash that like button on the video, because it helps a lot and shows that you're right here with me and with our Philadelphia Eagles on this journey. And of course, we can't talk about a victory without that chant that unites us all and echoes through the entire fan base. Fly, Eagles, fly. The Eagles are 2-0 after a gritty 27 win over the Kansas City Chiefs. And while the scoreboard shows dominance, the story of this game was all about toughness, adjustments, and finding ways to win even when the offense wasn't firing on all cylinders. Think about this for a second. Patrick Mahomes has never started a season 0-2 since Andy Reid took over in Kansas City back in 2014. Not only that, Mahomes has now lost 3 games in a row for the first time in his career, and 2 of those defeats came at the hands of the Philadelphia Eagles. This win wasn't pretty, but it was defining. The Eagles proved again that they can walk into one of the loudest, most hostile environments in the NFL and walk out victorious. On offense, it was a mixed bag. Saquon Barkley fought for nearly 90 rushing yards, but every carry looked like a battle in the trenches. A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith struggled to get separation downfield, which left Jalen Hurts with very few options in the passing game. In fact, Hurts finished with just 94 passing yards on 15 completions. That's not the explosive aerial attack Eagles fans are used to seeing, and it shows just how much work still needs to be done by offensive coordinator Kevin Patullo. The play calling and route designs haven't looked sharp through 2 games, and when you combine that with the Chiefs' aggressive blitz packages from defensive coordinator Steve Spagnuolo, you had a recipe for constant pressure.
But here's what makes this game special. Even with those offensive struggles, the Eagles found the one big play when they needed it most. Hurts connecting with DeVonta Smith on a massive 3rd down conversion that set up the late touchdown to ice the game. And then there's the identity this team refuses to let go of, the brotherly shove. The Chiefs knew it was coming late in the 4th quarter. The crowd knew it. Every fan at home knew it. Yet, once again, Jalen Hurts and the offensive line executed it to perfection, sealing the victory. That play is more than just a short yardage tactic. It's a statement of strength and willpower. Other teams try it, but only the Eagles make it look unstoppable. Defensively, Vic Fangio's group came in with a clear plan: make Mahomes uncomfortable. They didn't get the 6 sacks and constant pressure we saw in the Super Bowl, but the Eagles still registered 2 sacks, 10 quarterback hits, and forced a massive turnover that shifted momentum. The play of safety Andrew Mukuba stood out. His interception off a deflected pass from Travis Kelce nearly turned into a pick 6, and he seemed to be around the ball all game long. The development of young defenders like Mukuba and Jayad Campbell is exactly the type of depth this team needs as the season wears on. Add in the impact of Cedarius Smith, who was just picked up after the Cowboys game, and you see a defense that's not just talented but opportunistic. Let's not forget the special teams either. Jake Elliott, who struggled badly from 50-plus yards last season, has completely flipped the script. He nailed both of his long attempts today and is now perfect from distance through 2 games. That reliability at kicker is a massive asset in tight games, and there's no question that Elliott's leg was a key factor in closing out Kansas City. Still, it wasn't flawless. There were some concerning moments in coverage late in the game, including Mahomes finding Thornton deep, exposing gaps in the secondary. Those breakdowns can't continue if this team wants to survive against elite quarterbacks down the stretch. Yet, that's part of the story here. The Eagles aren't playing their best football, and they're still beating top-tier opponents. That's the mark of a championship-caliber roster. And let's talk about the rivalry brewing here. Mahomes and Hurts are writing one of the most compelling storylines in football. Mahomes got the better of Hurts in Super Bowl 57, but Hurts answered back with wins in Super Bowl 59 and now in Week 2 of the 2025 season. Add in last year's regular season win at Arrowhead, and suddenly Hurts has beaten Mahomes 3 times. Think about how rare that is in today's NFL. Josh Allen hasn't done it. Lamar Jackson hasn't done it. Only Joe Burrow managed once. Yet Hurts and Sirianni have now beaten Andy Reid and Mahomes 3 straight times. That's not just coincidence. That's a statement of arrival. This win wasn't about style points. It was about grit, composure, and showing that the Eagles are capable of winning ugly. That's how championships are built. At the end of the year, nobody remembers the box score from Week 2. What matters is this: Philadelphia walked into Kansas City against a desperate, dangerous Chiefs team and walked out 2-0. Now the real question becomes, how good can this team be once the offense finds its rhythm and the defense tightens up those coverage issues? I want to know what you think, Eagles fans. Is this gritty win proof that the Eagles are on track for another Super Bowl run? Or do the offensive struggles concern you moving forward? When we dive deeper into this game, it becomes clear that the Eagles' identity is shifting in a way that makes them even more dangerous. Last year, Philadelphia leaned heavily on explosive plays in the passing game, with Jalen Hurts consistently connecting downfield with A.J. Brown and DeVonta Smith. Through 2 weeks of this season, that part of the offense has been missing, but the resilience and adaptability of this team have taken center stage. Instead of outscoring opponents in a shootout, the Eagles are showing they can grind games out, win the time of possession battle, and close late when everything is on the line. That's what makes championship teams, versatility in the way they win. Let's go back to the ground game for a moment. Saquon Barkley's addition to this roster continues to pay dividends, not just in the box score, but in the way he forces defenses to adjust. Kansas City came in knowing Barkley could not be allowed to control the tempo, yet he still found ways to fight for nearly 90 yards. Even when the holes weren't there, he kept churning forward, wearing down the Chiefs' front seven and setting up manageable situations for Hurts. And when it mattered most, late in the fourth quarter, everyone knew Barkley was getting the ball, and he still moved the chains. That kind of physicality is contagious. It builds confidence in the offensive line and keeps opposing defenses honest. Now, one area that absolutely deserves more spotlight is the coaching. Kevin Patullo is only 2 games into his play-calling duties, and already the spotlight is intense. Fans are frustrated with the lack of creativity, but let's not forget who he's facing. In Week 1, it was Dan Quinn and the Cowboys defense. In Week 2, Steve Spagnuolo and the Chiefs. Those are 2 of the most aggressive, well-prepared defensive minds in football. It's no surprise that the offense hasn't looked explosive, but the question is whether Patullo can adapt quickly enough. Nick Sirianni has always emphasized peaking late in the season, not in September, and that perspective might be exactly what keeps this team grounded while improvements are made. Defensively, though, what Fangio has brought in just 2 games is impressive. Against Mahomes, he blended pressure packages with disciplined coverage, forcing the Chiefs into uncomfortable situations. The Chiefs' offense simply doesn't have the same weapons it used to, and Fangio exploited that. By dialing up blitzes, using Jair Campbell as a rusher, and letting Andrew Mukuba roam aggressively in coverage, he forced Mahomes to try and win with his legs. Mahomes ran for 66 yards, but almost all of it came in the first half. Fangio adjusted, contained him in the second half, and neutralized one of the most dangerous parts of Kansas City's offense. That kind of in-game adjustment is exactly why the Eagles brought Fangio back into the fold. And then there's the storyline nobody can ignore, Andrew Mukuba. He was all over the field, making a statement as a ball hawk and a physical presence. His interception completely changed momentum, and when you see a young safety playing with that kind of confidence so early in the season, it bodes well for how this secondary can develop. Add in the contributions from newcomers like Cedarius Smith, who made an immediate impact with tackles and pressure, and you start to see how deep this defense really is. Special teams, too, are beginning to look like a hidden strength. Jake Elliott's turnaround from last season is one of the biggest differences so far. Where he struggled from long range in 2024, he's been flawless this year, and against a team like Kansas City, those points are the difference between leaving Arrowhead with a win or a loss. It's easy to overlook kickers when you have star quarterbacks and wide receivers on the field, but Elliott proved once again that his reliability is a weapon. Now let's zoom out and look at the bigger picture. The Eagles are 2-0. But they've beaten Patrick Mahomes twice in the last 7 months, including the Super Bowl. That's not just a statistical quirk, it's a power shift. For years, Mahomes and the Chiefs have been viewed as the team nobody could consistently beat. Josh Allen hasn't done it. Lamar Jackson hasn't done it. Even Joe Burrow managed only 1 win. But Jalen Hurts and Nick Sirianni? They've done it 3 times. That says everything about where this Eagles franchise stands right now. They are no longer just contenders, they're the standard. And Hurts himself deserves more credit than he gets nationally. While the box score shows fewer than 100 passing yards, that doesn't tell the story. Hurts once again proved his ability to manage a game, avoid turnovers, and deliver in critical moments. His running threat continues to shape the offense, especially with the unstoppable brotherly shove. He now owns 55 rushing touchdowns in his career, the most among quarterbacks, and that play alone changes the way defenses have to prepare. Other teams have tried to copy it, but it works only in Philadelphia, only with Hurts, and only with this offensive line. That's a weapon no other franchise has. So here we are, 2-0, with plenty of room to grow. The offense hasn't clicked yet, but the defense is making timely plays, the special teams are solid, and the core identity of this team remains intact. If this is what the Eagles look like when they're still finding their rhythm, just imagine what they'll be when everything comes together. Now I want to hear from you. Do you believe Jalen Hurts has established himself as Mahomes' true rival in this era of football? And are the Eagles the team to finally dethrone the Chiefs as the NFL's most feared dynasty? And when you think about the long-term implications of this win, it goes far beyond just week 2 of the regular season. Beating Kansas City at Arrowhead, again, cements the Eagles as a team that doesn't just rise for the big moments, they thrive in them. This is a group that has embraced the grind, embraced the adversity, and embraced the role of being the hunted after lifting the Lombardi Trophy in February. There's a target on their back now, and yet they've started this season by handling business against 2 desperate opponents in back-to-back weeks. The most fascinating part is how much this team still has left in the tank. The offense has yet to hit its stride, but when you have A.J. Brown, DeVonta Smith, Dallas Goedert, and Saquon Barkley in your arsenal, it's only a matter of time before the fireworks start. Defenses can't hold that much talent in check forever, and once Kevin Patullo finds his groove as a play caller, you can expect those downfield shots to return, opening everything up for Hurts and Barkley underneath. We're talking about an offense that has barely scratched the surface, and they're already 2-0. On defense, the versatility is what stands out most. Fangio's scheme is designed to adapt week to week, and what we've seen so far is a unit that can both attack and adjust. Against Dallas in week 1, the emphasis was on coverage and forcing Dak Prescott to make tight throws. Against Mahomes in week 2, it was blitzes, pressure, and forcing him to improvise. 2 different approaches, 2 wins. That adaptability is rare in today's NFL, and it's exactly why this defense will remain a problem for every quarterback they face. And then there's the confidence factor. The Eagles are not just beating teams, they're beating teams that everyone else is afraid of. Mahomes had never lost 3 in a row. The Chiefs had not started 0-2 since 2014, and yet the Eagles walked into their house and took control. That does something for the locker room. It tells every player in that building, from veterans like Lane Johnson and Fletcher Cox to rookies and new additions like Makuba and Campbell, that they belong at the top of the NFL hierarchy. There's also the growing legend of Jalen Hurts. For years, Patrick Mahomes has been the face of clutch football, the quarterback who always finds a way. But now Hurts is carving out his own reputation in that same mold. He's not flashy in the stat sheet right now, but he's consistent, reliable, and relentless. The brotherly shove has become iconic, but it's what it represents that matters most. Hurts' willpower, leadership, and refusal to be denied. He's not just another young quarterback chasing Mahomes anymore. He's the one quarterback who has proven he can stand toe-to-toe with him and come out on top. And make no mistake, this is becoming the rivalry of this generation. Hurts versus Mahomes. Sirianni versus Reed. Eagles versus Chiefs. Super Bowl 57 belongs to Kansas City, but Super Bowl 59, last year's regular season, and now this latest showdown all belong to Philadelphia. That back-and-forth storyline is something the league thrives on, and every meeting between these two teams now feels like must-watch television. For Eagles fans, the bigger picture is even more exciting. The NFC is wide open. The 49ers are strong, the Cowboys are always hanging around, but the Eagles have shown already that they can beat elite competition without even playing their best football. Imagine what happens when everything clicks. Imagine this defense locking down consistently, this offense rediscovering its explosiveness, and special teams continuing to deliver. That's not just a playoff team, that's a team built for another deep Super Bowl run. So the question becomes, where do the Eagles go from here? They've proven they can grind out ugly wins. They've proven they can silence one of the loudest stadiums in football. And they've proven they can take down Patrick Mahomes again. The standard is set, the bar is high, and the expectations are nothing short of another championship chase. If you're watching this right now, drop your thoughts in the comments. Do you believe this Eagles team has what it takes to not just return to the Super Bowl, but to build a dynasty of their own? And if you're confident in this squad, smash that like button, hit subscribe, and keep riding with us because we'll be bringing you every update, every breakdown, and every celebration all season long. Stay tuned. Check the videos on your screen right now for more exclusive Eagles coverage. Fly, Eagles, fly!